Good morning. Right, so it's just coming up to 12 o'clock. It is 26th of May 2014. This is my second video this morning. Um, just something that I said in my previous video, which I've just done a few minutes ago. I wanted to talk about social conditioning and what I think of it. I might be right, might be wrong. Like I said in my previous videos, if there's anything that you wanted me to talk about, or you want to talk about with me, depending on what it is, whether I'm right or wrong, discuss opinions, views, whatever, then please go for it. So, social conditioning, what a bastard. So, and it's been happening for years and years and years and years. I've still yet to do like loads more research on it. I just want to get it. I don't know, try and just make people more aware of the world we're living in, especially in Western culture, and just wake up a bit. Like, of course, people like know certain little bits, like when when they say like the Illuminati man, or like I don't know, just little things like that. Like, so people are slightly aware. Some people have got no clue whatsoever. Some people are massively, know what's going on or whatever. So yeah, social conditioning. I've got no notes written down for this, so I'm just going to go for it. Like, no structure whatsoever. By the way, if you can hear like a weird buzzing noise, it's because my fans on my Mac are going mental. So yeah, social conditioning. I believe it happens because, chaos and order and all the rest of it. They say if there was no governments and stuff like that, then it'd just be chaos. It'd be chaos and all the rest of it. Which it probably would be to an extent. But that's only because we have like a monetary system. We consume and we get these things called egos. And so yeah, this conditioning, it's used through the power of like things like the media, such as newspapers, the big plastic box in front of us, which is called television, through the radio, and through other disciplines like, and it's to keep us in a box, which is a massive shame, really. I personally believe it's to keep the 1% elite, the elite. How we can live in such a world where places like America and UK can have trillions, billions, whatever, like whether it be debt or not, I don't know, like, and these few billionaires and millionaires living amongst us, whether they've worked hard for it or not, that's not what I'm getting at. But the fact that can be the world we live in, where you've got places like Africa, places like South America and India, and all the places where poverty is much more mainstream than somewhere in the Western culture, such as UK or America. How that can happen, I don't know. Like, it's such a shame. Like, and when you get money, you get ego and stuff like that. You buy bigger house, buy bigger car, whatever. It means fuck all. It does mean fuck all. Like, when you're dead, that's it. Who's gonna remember? Like, oh yeah, remember when fucking Jim had that big car? No one gives a shit. Like, so yeah, like, it's this social conditioning thing. They try and control us. I don't want to sound like some mad conspiracy, like, oh, just another conspiracist just talking about fucking bullshit. Like, I know it's happening like amongst us, like, and I've known it through, like, I know this through like research. I know people know about this, and yeah, like, they use it through like things like so like let's take for example things like X Factor on ITV, The Voice, which I think BBC. Things like, I think it's Towie, or the Only Way is Essex, Made in Chelsea, I think I'm just trying to name some off the top of my head. Like I've heard about Geordie Shore, Jersey Shore, X on the Beach. I think that's a new one. Shit like that, basically. It's to get us like focused on this shit what we see on TV like this. There, it focuses on what other people are up to in other people's lives, like, and it's controlling us. It's keeping us from learning about other actual important shit, not whether who's arguing with who. Like, I can't give a fuck who's arguing with who on the TV or whatever. It's all scripted anyway. Like, but it's to keep us from opening a book, researching on the internet. It's to keep us networking with one another and connecting with one another and all the rest of it. It's to keep us in a box so that we don't do that. But it's funny because that's so now deeply ingrained in us and deeply within us. We think it's the norm, and so that when someone steps outside the box, it's got to the point now where, say, if there's 6 people in a room, 1 out of 6 people might go, "Oh, X Factor, that's bullshit. That is. It's all cod shit." Like. And then the majority will go, "Oh, don't be such a fussy clout, like, you know you love it all, you know, like, I don't know if like, and I'm trying to like, I don't know, reenact something, but you know, oh, what's wrong with it? What's so bad about it? Oh, it's all right, it's all good, like, or whatever. It's like that, like, but no, it's fucking shit. The an hour and a half, 2 hours, however long it's on for, that you're watching that bullshit, you could have spent reading a book. You could have spent like reading research on the internet about whatever. Like, I'm not saying that everyone has to be like me. I'm not trying to say that. But that's how deeply ingrained it is on us now. Like, we think it's the norm, and we think like, oh, it's all right. You know, it's just shit. It's just shit. Like. But people watch it a lot, and it's such a shame because it's becoming the norm, and we've got to stop watching stuff like that. We've got to stop voting for these governments. I seen a guy's status on Facebook the other day. I think his name's Thomas, something like that, I can't remember. And he said something about, I completely agree with it. It's the same shit, different face, and it's so true. It is like. These governments, if you read Jacques Fresco's The Best Money Can't Buy, Beyond Politics, Poverty and War, he says the same thing where these governments keep on promising and promising and promising. It's the same shit, different day. Like, but people get controlled and they just keep on fucking voting them in like this. Like, just not waking up, and it's passing down on each generation to each generation. Like, we get like things through the door like vote Labour, vote UKIP, like, and it's normally from like the older generation, and because they have it so deeply ingrained in them, it's almost passing on to us. But I think through the power of such things as books and the internet, my generation, I'm 25 in a few weeks. Like, I think a few of us, and maybe even some of the next generation, are a bit more alert through the use of tools like the internet and books and stuff. Like, so yeah, it gets so deeply ingrained in us that. By the way, if I'm all fidgety and everything, it's because I've had a big pot of coffee with loads of MCT oil in it, and I'm just like, anyway. So they keep us in a box, but as David Icke said, like I said this in my last video, David Icke once said, I think it was on Terry Wogan, he says, when one steps out of the box, you realise how small the box is. The box is there to keep us in this mundane life, so that the 1% elite with all the money and the power stay the 1% with all the money, the elitism and the power and stuff like that. And then they make us think like a utopian world isn't attainable. Maybe not utopians where everyone lives in grass and everyone's naked and everyone hugs and fucking all that shit. Maybe not that, but why is that our ideology of utopianism? Like, And like Jacques Fresco in his book, he says like using technology in a positive way, not so much using like. I'm just trying to think of a quote. What Jacques Fresco says in his London Real interview. He says something about like a few years ago we imagined these sliding doors. We'd have to say open sesame. Now we don't have to even say open sesame. Everything's done for us. Like Jacques Fresco talks about how if the world was one, like everyone still had their own cultures and stuff like that, but focused less on their primitive traditions and all the rest of it, and focused on what's going on tomorrow, then maybe we'd actually get somewhere. Because I feel like the evolution of mind has just gone, it's just slowed right down. And he talks about how we've got these transportation mobiles, i.e., our bodies, for these brain things inside of us, like, and how advanced we can become. But shit like the 1% elite and this monetary system and all that lot, and consumerism and all that dog shit, like, keeps us from moving, it keeps us from advancing, like, and this is why I just believe what the main thing is wrong with the world, like. So, but yeah, and like I said before, I don't want to sound like some mad like conspiracy theory, because I'm not. Well, I don't see myself as a conspiracy. Of course, I have watched like conspiracy videos and stuff like that, and maybe I do believe one or two, but yeah, I'm not like a raving lunatic. That's another thing as well. Like when we see like a raving lunatic or something we're so not used to, we point and laugh. We hear an African dude on the back of the bus speaking a different language. We point and laugh. Maybe not physically, but we think, what the fucking hell is he on about? Like, or because when we see something outside what we've grown up to be, our culture and environment, because that's what shaped us. When we see something outside our comfort zone, our culture, our environment which we've been brought up in, it's outside of the box what we know. So therefore, we ridicule that person. And why does it have to be like that? Like, what I've been thinking of recently is, I don't know if you've heard of the phrase, what one man's trash is another man's treasure. But I also been thinking recently, what one man's normal is another man's weird, or the other way around. What one man's weird is another man's normal. Like, so we have to. But the 1% elite keep us thinking like this, keep us this close-mindedness, and we see a Muslim dressed in the gown. I don't know the particular name for it, and I've seen people like laugh and stuff like. It's just like fucking idiots. Like it's what they wear. It's their culture. There might be a land out there what laugh at us, like that guy's got a fucking t-shirt on, he's got floral pants on, he's a maniac or whatever. It's because when something is outside our comfort zone, when something's outside something what we're used to, we're afraid, or whether it's like we're afraid of being that, we're afraid of stepping out of the box because we'll get ridiculed. Like if I walk down the street dressed as a fucking clown, then people are like, what's he dressed like there? Like, but I might be from like the land of clowns, like if that makes sense. Like, clowns might be a bad example, but what I'm trying to say is when we see something different or whatever, there's a hostility, there's a negativity, like there's normally. I'm not saying all of us think like this, by the way. I'm just saying like the majority think of us like this, but it's programmed into us. Like it's not natural. So I was also going to mention something else, but it's gone. But so this is what I believe is social conditioning: is to keep us in a box. Some may argue, like it's to keep us in order, but there's a difference between keeping people in order and keeping people leading fucking mundane lives. We're humans together. What is it? What's the right? Like, where does it say in the World Handbook that one adult is to tell another adult what to do, or not what to smoke, or what to take, or whatever? Like, who the fuck is another person to tell me what to do? Like, i.e., who the fuck are the government to keep me in a box? Like, so I'm just going to briefly talk about things like psychedelics and what we perceive as drugs. Like, I believe synthetic drugs, so like paracetamol, codeine and stuff like that, they are drugs. But things like ganja, magic mushrooms, ayahuasca, DMT, dimethyltryptamine, things that occur naturally, why the fuck have they got a class on them, class A, B or C or whatever? It's to stop us from doing them, like, to stop us, supposedly, what the media makes out, to harm us or whatever, to come harm to others. Like, it's to control us again, like, stop us opening our minds, stop us being creative. One man walks down the street and smoking ganja. Like, if you don't do it around kids, like, of course, but So if we hear like someone smokes weed, ganja, whatever you want to call it, like we go, oh, do you smoke drugs? Like we that again, like Graham Hancock said, it's so now deeply ingrained in here that we perceive ganja as a drug. It fucking goes naturally. Like, I've seen pictures of Afghanistan. Like, it grows like 10 feet tall, 10 feet tall. It's natural. It grows naturally. DMT. The reason why we dream, you see all these visions when we're asleep and stuff like that, is a release of DMT, dimethyltryptamine, and it's classed as a class A drug to keep us from doing it. It occurs naturally. Like, what else? Like ayahuasca over here is as far as I'm aware, I might be wrong. I think it's a class A, class B, I don't know, drug. Whereas in Peru, it's used as a medicine by the shamans of like certain tribes and stuff like that. And from doing some research and stuff like that, like, I've noticed the people who've done ayahuasca, who I've seen on the internet and stuff like that, they've all said a similar thing. Like, they've come out of it as a better person, or they've learned something from it. But as soon as people like the BBC get hold of some story that some kid has died in South America, don't get me wrong, knowing that another human has died is bad, but it's the fact that they're using it as some sort of tool to market the fact that ayahuasca is this deadly drug and all the rest of it. It's bullshit, so please don't buy into it. So yeah, social conditioning. It's to keep us in a box, it's to keep us ridiculing the person that looks different from what we used to. So I urge anyone to read Jacques Fresco's Beyond. Jacques Fresco's The Best Money Can't Buy: Beyond Politics, Poverty and War, and read it with an open mind, and you'll just realise and stuff like that. I'm also going to listen to Orwell's 1984 soon. I've downloaded it recently on like an audio book. And I'm going to give that a listen to because I've heard recently, like, it's some sort of realistic vibe about it or something like that. I'm not too sure. Like, I don't know a lot about the book, but I've heard it's, people live in this CCTV generation or whatever. So yeah, if there's anything I've missed or anything like that, please comment or please send me an email. And again, like, if I'm wrong about anything or if you believe I'm wrong or anything, please don't attack me. Like, please don't attack me. It sounds like I'm going to get mugged or something. Please don't, like, go mental on me or anything like that. But watch this video with an open mind. And again, I don't want to sound like some mad hippie conspiracist dude who's, or whatever, but the reason why I think like this is because I've become more open-minded, and I've done research and stuff like that, and I've read some interesting books, and it's difficult watching the world you live in get controlled. Like, it's difficult watching people being less creative than what the possibilities are for them, if that makes sense. Like, you get so caught up in reading I don't read the Sun, but I don't read any newspaper, watch the news or anything like that. Oh, that's not something else. I'll just add in quickly. I think it is Dorian Yates says on his London Real interview that we watch, and he's heard this somewhere else, that we watch. The majority of people watch the news, which is pushed in our faces 10 times a day, and those 10 times a day, it's something negative about somewhere else. It's always negativity. You watch, it's always negativity on the news, like, or at least 95, 99% of it at the time is anyway. And that's on what, 10 times a day. And I think he also mentioned, Dorian Yates also mentions that he heard somewhere else that we receive 4 million or 400 million bytes of data a day, but our brain only processes 400 of that and something like that. And in that 400 bits, then we've got the news and media pushing our face every day, and that's why we believe the shit that we do. Like, one might call me insane, but being honest, if you're calling me insane or you're calling me like you're mad conspiracists or whatever, it's because you've been programmed to think like that. Like, does that make sense? Like, I say that in the nicest way possible. But so yeah, I'm going to stop it there. That's 21 minutes. Like, I've still got loads more to say, but packing it into like a short video and putting it on YouTube and my blog and stuff like that is quite. Yeah, I've got a massive amount of information I'd love to talk to someone about and just spread the good word, like spread the good vibe, man. But so yeah, like cultures, we're better intertwined, we're better together rather than all this hostility and stuff like that. So yeah, I hope I've covered most things, whatever. I know I do like say one thing and then I go off on a tangent and it goes off like it's mad tree or whatever. But it's just because I've had just loads of MCT oil in my coffee and I've not got any notes written down or anything like that. So yeah, please comment and please send me a message on any advice, again, like sound quality, video quality, what you want me to talk about, if you want to meet up with me, anything. I'm open to anything. I love people. I sound like lonely guy in the house, don't I? But anyway, fucking hell. Take it easy, guys. Peace.